Hello and welcome to Fast and Dirty, presented by Haro's Automotive Center and Haro's Fleet Service in Vero Beach, Florida. Today, I know it's been a long time since we've done a video, especially on the Mustang, but we're kind of in the home stretch. We've done some interior stuff, things like that. We're finishing that stuff up. We're actually rebuilding our trunk interior because we want to do it a little bit better, a little bit different. We were looking at it and we were like, this could be cooler. And it happens when you're building something. While you're there, we put in a sub, and since we're there, let's redesign the whole dang thing, right? So that's what we're doing, redesigning all of it. What we're going to be working on today is the front seat. We did the passenger one, and it was way more difficult than what I had anticipated. So we kind of scrapped the footage and stuff like that. But now we actually have a seat to show you what we're starting with and what we're gonna end with, and I'll show you that here in a second. So we're gonna be doing a seat today, it should come out good. So stick with us. So this is what we're starting with. This is our good old factory 1965 Mustang seat. Our car is a 64, but that's an argument as old as time. So it's a 65. It just depends on its year. These are actually 65 seats. These are not 1964 and a half seats. We know that the interior has been changed in the car at some point because the original interior was white and blue. Actually would have been a beautiful color and color combination. And someone decided to go black. Don't know why. I don't really dig it. But I like multicolor interiors and stuff like that, especially back then. Ours is actually changed to a multicolor interior, and we'll show you that here in a second. We do have black seats. But as you find the stuff out. So this is what we're starting with, and very old, crusty seat. Sorry about the bad camera angles. And the seat backs, and these are what we're putting on. So these are going to be our foams, right? So high boasters, things like that. And we'll show you the next part. And here's the seat in our Mustang, all right? So this is what we're actually going to. From that to this, it's TMI. It's the Pony Interior logos, and we did that back and front. We put in rear seat belts and things like that, and see, multicolor, right? So when we took this car over, it just had a plain black interior, very one note, right? As we were stripping these down, I found the original color, and the original color was on the back side as well. And then when we were taking some of the pieces off around the headliner is actually the original headliner. The original headliner was white. So most likely this had white seats and a blue interior. Some of the things we've done is, if you look down here, we actually did a nice suede kick panel, and that extends all the way over to that side, and then that's suede over there as well. I know, a little bit messy in here, and we did this suede because we have suede on our seats, so we kind of wanted to tie everything in. So that's that portion. Close that. We'll come over here to the trunk real quick, and this is a mess, so everything is kind of changed, right? So if you've noticed, these are the old ones we made. We've actually stripped them back down because we're gonna do a mix between this and suede. So this and this, and this is actually what we're gonna have. It's gonna look more like this. Okay, and I'm trying to hold everything up with one hand, but it's gonna look more like that, right? Which I think has a much better look. Because it has the radius curves and stuff like that, which just are gonna make it pop a little bit more, right? And that's really kind of what we want. We want more of a pop. We want it to look good, right? For the potential new owners of the car. The way I always kind of look at it is we don't get to own classic cars, we just get to caretake them. So for the next caretaker of this automobile, Stepping back a little bit, might as well do a small walk around of what we've done. We have LED taillights, and we went and we actually did the auto tint or the tinting, the nightshade tinting. So we did that on both sides. Just again, more contemporary. Again, sorry about the mess in the shop. We've been busy doing about 9,000 things. And we also have Daymaker headlights. A lot of motorcycle guys will notice this headlight right away. A lot of bikes run them. They are a low wattage headlight system, built for motorcycles, with plastic housings, perfect inside an old muscle car, right? So there's our engine. It's all dirty. The engine bay's dirty. I'm very, very sorry. No one beat me up too much on that. But all of it's going to get cleaned. We're still detailing is going to be last, but that's what we got. So we're going from this, from that crusty old seat to that nice TMI bolstered seat. Oh, one thing I do want to show everybody, because this is amazing. It's my favorite part, and the battery's unhooked, so we're not gonna make them light up, but. Those are American Muscle autometer gauges, right? Backed up with our 5-speed, right? And then all of our new switches and stuff like that. Yes, we have a doubled-in radio. Anybody who gets mad that we cut a perfectly good dash and we put in that big radio, I'm very sorry. We didn't cut the dash. This had a monstrous hole cut in it because someone had an old Pioneer radio and like a CB in that thing. So we just didn't weld in a new piece. I figured I've never seen a classic car with a doubled in before, so why not do it? All right, so now we're back in the maintenance office. This is actually our fleet office that I turned into the Mustang storage area. No one was happy with that, especially my wife. So, I'm very sorry, sweetheart. Oh, we should say sorry to your wife, especially when you make her mad. But this is what we got. This old junk seat right here, we're going to take it apart. The back seat, I tried to save as much as I could of it, and I was able to get it all off without damaging it. When I went to go and do the front seat, did not have the same success. So what we're going to do is say the heck with it, and we're going to do this the fast way, not the neat way, or the let's save every single piece, because it's from 1965. I would love to save the whole thing, so that way someone else can reuse it if they needed to. But this seat's also ripped, right? So I do tell people all the time, cars are only original one time, but when you have a car that's been changed as much as that car, a car will never be original again. It hasn't been original in probably, I don't know, let's say 40 years, right? And the car's almost 60, right? The car will be turning 60 this coming year, right? So when you kind of look at it in that whole, that for the last at least, let's say 20 to 25 years, the car has been very much not original. Originally it was a 260 car and things like that. You kind of got to do what you got to do. Okay, so we are at a part I always like, right? And this might sound dumb. Think about this, okay? This seat is almost 60 years old. It's a 65 seat. So let's say it's 1965, right? It's 59 and a half years old, or 59 years old rather, right? Because we're almost to 2024, right? So this cover has not been off here since 1965. So you get to see what time does and stuff like that, and you get to see something that hasn't been seen since 1965 because it was never meant to be seen, right? So I always kind of like this part. I know it's kind of corny, right, to look at it and go, oh yeah, no one's seen it since 1965. Yeah, it's great, right? But I always like that part. So I turn the camera back on, so maybe you get to see too if that's your thing, right? And I just remembered that this has hog rings on the inside, right? So you don't get to see it like that. Well, it's going to come apart because the hog ring's just going to fall right apart. But I'm going to turn this around so you all get to see it. Try not to mess with the table too much, right? And big circle. I don't know if it's going to come out on camera, but there's a big circle here. I know I can see the lines really, really well, the pleated lines and stuff. But this was really kind of it. I mean, this was your protection and your comfortability in this car. And I've seen these new; they're not a whole lot different. I mean, in comparison, this is the new seat back we're putting on. Big boasters and stuff like that, CDs in the camera. And so the comparison is this, right? All the way through, this is about as, no, this right here is like that thick. That thick. This is that thick, right? And this is that thick all the way through. And this gets a half an inch thinner, right, as you go down to here, right? I mean, so just in comfortability, these are way better, right? So I mean, if you're going to do a Mustang and you're not going to do a concourse restoration car, you know, and you want to build a driver, right? So you're not doing a concourse restoration. You want a car you can drive and be comfortable in. Really, you got to check out TMI, right? TMI seats and seat covers, you can reuse your original frames, right? So what you can do is you can go and get a set of seat covers, right, that are TMI, in their sport. I want to say the ones we have are Sport 2s, right? So you can get some Sport 2 seats, and then you can get the seat covers, and then use your factory frames if you have them. If not, TMI will sell you the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle, right? But if you have your original frames, reuse the original frames. And honestly, I've driven the car with that passenger seat on the driver's side because I needed to take it someplace, and this seat was out, and I wanted to see how it felt, and that seat was way more comfortable than this one, right? So honestly, it isn't a good idea; it's a great idea, you know. So just so you guys are well aware, think about it. And go see TMI online. It's easy. All right, so we got the bottom done. I did it off camera. Gonna work on the top with y'all, and it's because they're basically the same thing. It's hog rings, it's clips, and stuff like that. But something you kind of need to know with TMI interior pieces, not a huge fan of this portion. This is just a simple little piece of round bar that I had laying around the shop. You can use a clothes hanger or what have you. TMI, if you bought interior products from them in the past and stuff like that, which I have, on some of their stuff, they actually, they're factory fresh stuff. So your factory replacement interior parts. For my Trans Am, I bought them, and they came with all the piping and all the metal inserts in the piping. These do not. So you do have to source some piping and stuff like that. Something to put in there to adhere the hog ring to. Some people I know in the past I've seen where they don't use anything. They don't bother putting the hog rings in on it. The way they look at it is it'll settle. When they settle, they'll settle in an orientation that may not be what you want. So you need to keep that in mind. These are actually to keep it steady and to keep it down, to keep it tight, and to give you a really, really good look. That being said, I'm going to show you exactly where you put these in it. So the one we just put in is this centerpiece right here, which goes right here, right? Which goes right across here, and then everything kind of goes around it, you know, as it kind of folds over. And then you have the side pieces, which are right here, which we will make next. So I just wanted to kind of go over this part with you. How I typically do this is I will get my piece and I will have that set aside. I will get all my, well, on this one, get my pipes ready and stuff like that. So get everything, get all the steel and everything. And then I will set this on the table and I will kind of maneuver everything around so I can get the hog rings in there and get them clamped down. And again, that's what holds it tight, right? Which gives us that good look. So to me, I think it's an important step. You know, I think to most people it's important. But I mean, you do you. It's cars. It's not rocket science. It's not like, you know, there's going to be an explosion if you pipe it wrong, or you don't use piping, or you don't use hog rings the way you should. It's for you to kind of decide. I do it this way because I know this is just the way for me. But I'm gonna start fighting this thing in here. I suppose y'all don't really want to see that. It's not all that great. It's not like you have a revelation. If anyone does want to know what you have to do, hog ring pliers. You put your hog ring in. You grab a hold, right, between the metal pipe you put in and the metal on the foam, right, and then just clamp down. It's really, really easy. All right. And there's probably 1,000 videos out there to show you how to use hog ring pliers. So, I mean, I don't want to insult anyone. So, we'll see you on the next part.